smokes black when she walks through the door. A shadow that stretches across the stone floor. She carries the staff, she carries the sight, a piece of the morning in the heart of the night.
Satan, Satan, the staff hits the wood where the kings used to stand. Fate is a needle in a trembling hand. You asked for the rune, you asked for the flame, but you're too weak to carry the weight of your name.
The thread is unweaving, the truth is bereaving, the vulva is spinning, the spirit and bone. The seeds of your ending have already been sown. She sees the high hall, she sees it in ash, the glint of the gold, the sting of the lash. She speaks to the dead, she drinks from the well. There are secrets the living are too frightened to tell.
The weird is full. The weird is full.
Across the foam where the gray sea dies, I see the gold in your mortal eyes. Leave the iron sheen, leave the rust, leave the men who turn to dust.
I see the light, I see the shore, but my heart is tied to the threshing floor. How can I ride where the shadows go, when the wind of home is all I know?
Tinanog is calling.
Beyond the mist where the sea is new,
Leave the world of the gray and the falling. Hashi, Harun, I am calling you. 10,000 winters in a single breath. The land of youth, the end of death. Time is a cage, time is a lie. Come to the land where we never die.
I took the saddle, I left the clay, but the ghost must see the hills, I must find my soul.
If you touch the ground, the years will strike.
The world is changed, it is nothing alike. I touch the ground and the ground turned gray. My brothers are bones, they have blown away. My skin is a shroud, my heart is lead. I wake among the ancient dead.
The veil is thin, the light is long.
We are the pulse, we are the song.
You chose the shore, you left the tide. The mist has closed on the mortal side. Is a shroud on the sleeping glen. We lay out the brat for the healing of men. A silver shadow moves over the height. Breed carries embers to swallow the night. Her footsteps are soft as the falling of wool, while the moon o'er the she is heavy and full. In the cold of the clay, lead us from shadow and into the day, with the spark of the forge and the flow of the spring. Wake every winter-bound slumbering thing. The wheel is a-turning, the lights on the wing. She stands at the anvil where destiny's to hammer the future and soften the past. With iron and fire she tempers the soul, to make what was broken vibrant and whole. The ice starts to weep at the touch of her hand, as the green fire of Imbolc awakens the land. Oh, breathe, breathe life in the cold of the clay. Lead us from shadow and into the day, with the spark of the forge and the flow of the spring. Wake every winter-bound slumbering thing. Cure for the weary, a song for the sage. A new leaf is turning on history's page. From the sacred well to the mountains rise the smoke of the morning in Breed's blue eyes. Oh, breathe, breathe life in the cold of the clay. Lead us from shadow and into the day, with the spark of the forge shadows are breaking. Breed is here, the light is drawing near.
Good and fair evening, my friends. Welcome back to the tavern. I apologize for so late this evening. I took on an errand, and the errand became quite dramatic near the end, and it took us a bit to clean everything up afterwards. So I apologize, but I am here. We're going to try and get through one, maybe two chapters tonight, and it should be a spectacular evening of storytelling. I'm glad you've all still popped in to join us. Thank you very much. Let's go see who all we have. We have Hannah, we have Matty, we have Teresa, we have Bear, we have the Frostbeard, we have Shay the Bean, we have Marina, we have Erin. Erin, thank you for the 15 streak. I appreciate you for that. Milo is in. And I think that the Sword Talk is in. Hello, good to see you. Molly is in. We've got Gunnar in. Welcome in, my friends. Good to see you all. So very glad that you could join us. Stephanie, hello, welcome. All right, let's see who we've got. We've got Martin over on the YouTube portal. Welcome in, Martin. Good to see you. Fallen Crow. Yeah, there was a bit of a sorry mess, indeed. Crow. Did the lady post something about it? Is that why? Oh, okay. TikTok is just up, Stephanie. TikTok has been being a bit of a bastard to us as of late, so I don't know how long it'll be up, because they keep trying to kick us off, so I don't know how long it'll be up. But it is up if you want to head over there. Good evening. I actually fell asleep during the intro before the reading of Chapter 1 actually began. I may not last much longer tonight. Well, just making memories. I'm glad that you're here. I will do my best to get into it quickly so you don't have to wait too long. And then let's see, who do we have over on the Facebook portal? Let's see. Hang on. We have Ashley. Why did it hide Ashley's message? Ashley, hello, welcome in. And then Gary J saying stop. I refuse. I don't know what you're saying stop to, but I refuse. Yeah, whatever it is, no, is my answer. It's nothing against you personally. I just don't like being told what to do.
Most people.
Yeah, Stephanie, thank you for the heart, me love. I appreciate you for that. Thank you kindly. No, we're doing Eragon tonight. So correct me if I'm wrong. It's supposed to be family friendly on Tuesday,
Yeah.
and then adult on Thursday. The only reason why we did Eragon on Thursday is because we had just, I didn't know we were going to have the Feist book, and we had just gotten it in, so I hadn't had a chance to look at the first couple of chapters, which I like to do beforehand just to make sure that everything is together. I haven't had a chance to go through the book yet to make sure that it was all well and good, so. I apologize for my absence, but I'm now returned. Well, you were well missed, Bear, and I appreciate you coming back. I hope you enjoyed your camping trip. Kayla, hello, good to see you. Welcome in. Castle, I need help. I named something Tavardanen in book 3. Bethany, hello, good. I am Bethany. I didn't say hello to you, so hello. Castle, I will not be silenced. I will not be silenced. Good luck. I'm very loud. I could scream through your hands if I needed to. Without even trying, that's true. I'm gonna look tonight. My anxiety is weird. I'll chat later if my brain can get back out. Get out. Okay, hang on. I will chat later if my brain can get back to head out of its butt and stop being mean to me. Heart to everyone if I don't come back. Alright. Milu, take your time, do what you need to do. I'm sorry that was so hard for me to read. Apparently I've regressed to the 2nd grade. I'm glad to be here. I'm hoping you can chase away my sorrows. I will do my very best, Marina. I hope that nothing too terrible has happened. But I hope that... It seems everybody's having a bit of an evening tonight, huh? Luckily ours was all superficial things, so... No, autocorrect one again.
I did write this down, but I smell chemicals. You smell chemicals?
I did spray air conditioning stuff earlier.
I mean, I did bleach the counter, but I wiped it down after.
Yeah, there's all kinds of cleaning stuff, so you're probably just smelling the ambient cleaning stuff. You should be fine.
Here. Smell it right here.
Well, it's probably coming from underneath. Yeah, you're fine, baby. It should be alright.
I want it poison.
Well, it's all poison, to a degree. Currently living off protein shakes right now due to some neuro issues. Well, that's no fun. I also spend most of my time living off protein shakes, but that's just because I'm a fat guy, and I need to not be a fat guy. Esther, hello, good evening. I'm faring as well as can be. My big trauma of the day was paying my taxes. Frost has had it the worst of all of us. Everybody, take off your hats to Frost. The poor man has just been robbed by the government. We all pour one out for Frost. I had drama with my mom that ended in a wellness check on her, and I panicked when the police came because, well, fun times. I mean, still not as bad as paying taxes, Matty, but that's pretty bad. There was a gentleman who was elevated to the highest ranks of arts and sciences for his brewing. I asked him to try my stout for his enjoyment, and his compliments me. I can only imagine. Kelly go, oh, you got braces. Well, that's good. That's actually positive news. Today is the anniversary of the death of my soulmate, so it's been a hard day. It's never fun to have to remember the loss of someone. But the good news is that means that you also get to celebrate the life of that person. So even though they are gone, you get to be the one who celebrates and carries on their memory. And that's a hell of a privilege. But Ross, thank you for the 5 streams, and Tyson, thank you for the 5 streams, my friends. Berkey, hello, been a while, thank you for the ASMR. One day I would love to hear the rhyme of the ancient mariner. You would make it awesome. Send it to me in a message, Berkey, and I will see if I can get it up on our Endless Epic channel, where I do readings. I haven't done any in a while. I think we're at like 18 months since I've uploaded anything, and maybe more. But we do have stuff in the works going up over there, so if you have something you'd like me to read that I have not yet read on stream, if it's short enough, then I will put it up over there. Caught between that and Tara Dedan. Let me look, Matty. Hang on. Hang on. I have a ebook that I keep on my phone for Welga grammar because it's been forever since I spoke fluently. Because Danin in like if you were to do Twataday Danin, the Twataday means tribe of, and then it's Danu. Hill of Danu. I've got an expander thing in my mouth. Not sure if that counts as braces. Well, palate expanders are actually very good for you in quite a few things. It helps with snoring. It helps with congestion, and it helps also with just general jaw problems. I've considered going and getting one because I dislocated my jaw a while back, and I have a tooth missing in the rear that got broken. So I've considered getting one to fix my jaw problems, but we'll see. Love watching your videos. Glad I was able to catch the live stream finally. Well, Donnie, I'm glad that you're in. Welcome. These get to be a bit chaotic. Generally, I try to read too, but we also get off on waffles, and sometimes we don't make it quite there. So, looking forward to story time in the Black Dragon Tavern. I raise my whiskey glass to Ravensbourne. Much appreciated. We're glad to have you. Stephen, I saw you drop in. I didn't read your last message, but hello. Good to see you. Welcome in. Cassie, hello to you as well. Welcome, welcome, my friends. Not sure if that counts as braces, but I got it cleared by insurance for medical need for snoring. It's not braces in a technical sense, but it has the same sort of presence as braces, I would say. Okay, so real quick, friends, we're going to run... we're going to run some ads over on... the Twitch portal, so our Twitch friends don't have to get stuck in ads while we are reading. They will be on for 3 minutes. To anyone who's willing to sit and watch them, we appreciate you. Thank you kindly for it. They do, in some small way, support the tavern, and it is appreciated. So, Matty, is this meant to be like a combination of the Hill of Tara and the like the Twataday Danin? Is that what you're trying to make it, like the Hill of Danu? Is that what it is? Because I will say that direct links like that are not usual in Celtic language and folklore. When you're talking about Gaelga, Gaelga, especially in folklore, does not rely on direct naming as much as it does associative naming. So the Hill of Tara is directly linked to the Twataday Danin in the same way that the Tovar Sagas is, and the Dagda's Cauldron, and his staff, and the stone of Tara. Those are all linked. Not systematically, they're all linked thematically to, so if you're using that as it is, like if you're just trying to use strictly what already exists in Celtic or Irish folklore, then you can just use it as it is, because thematically they were already tied together. Yeah, you would just call it Tara. You would just call it, you know. I might be going on medical leave because they also plan to go and fix some cartilage in my nose, a lot of medical stuff. Look, if you can get it fixed as best you can, because it will it'll come back to haunt you later. Oh, I got poured out all over on the ground. You just don't get it now. You didn't bring a cup. Okay. I'm following cholesterol-free diet for 3 months because in the heart attack and stroke result. That is rough. You got to be careful. We had issues like that with my dad before he, well before he passed. That's what led to his medical issues. So, I love your stories. I'm a call center supervisor. I allude to your tales to help my agents get through their day-to-day. Much love from Ohio in the USA. Well, thank you so much, Aaron. That's a lovely thing. What an honor. Thank you kindly for that. I'm glad to have you in the tavern. I'm glad you could drop in. It did not. I'll run it. I'll do it again. Okay, now we're running. Santana, Bobby, hello, welcome in. Susan, thank you kindly for the heart. Mate, tips to the tavern keeper, always appreciated. Haunt him later, the ghost of cartilage past, the headless deviated septum, the nasal guys, yeah. See, my sinuses on this side are all messed up from getting hit in the face because I am right-hand dominant. And so I would get hit when I was fighting. I'd get hit on this side a lot because I would swing with my right hand and leave myself open. And so my sinuses on this side of my face are all messed up. I love the language tidbits. I've always loved learning about other languages and how they work. Well, good. I'm glad that you enjoy them. I like doing them because language story times for me are fun because they're simple and they kind of show a little bit of how stories are built, because there's so much story in just words, right? Like just in how words work and how they're stitched together and the history of how they got there. There's so much story just in that. And when you think about how much story is inside of a story, when you think about the meanings of words and whatnot, it's just I like it. I'm a bit of a spaz when it comes to that sort of thing. Why I'm walking every day with LC, the osteoarthritis one, must keep moving and keep after. Absolutely, Esther. I've got dreadful knees from my years not taking care of myself, and just getting out and walking, doing squats every now and again does. If I'm not active, my knees kill me. They absolutely destroy me. Do cardio, your heart will thank you. I agreed, Kayla. Got to get that heart rate up nice and high. Bobby, hello and good evening. It's good to see you. I think I already said hello to you, but I'm not sure. Oh, it goes well, Santana. We're keeping active is incredibly important. I say this all the time. There are very few things that you need to live. Is that Vinny Fluger? That's it, because my mother had relatives whose names were Fluger. So I'm wondering how they say, thank you for the stars over on the Facebook portal. I appreciate you. Where do you get inspiration for your stories? So I cannot claim the stories. I am a classically trained storyteller, and I grew up in a family of storytellers. My grandfather's family has kept and told stories as a part of our familial tradition for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Pfleger. Okay, so it is still the same sort of German pronunciation, but Pfleger instead of Fluger. Interesting. I've never seen someone with that last name. I've never seen anyone with that similar last name. Because my mother's father had German ancestry, so his family were related to some Flugers through marriage. So Pfleger, that's very interesting. But how I decide what stories I'm going to tell is generally by what the patrons are asking for, by what patrons of the tavern ask for. I enjoy them. Well, very, very good thing, Bobby. Very good thing. Swimming is always good exercise for all, even if you just walk in the pool. Yeah, I actually do like swimming a lot because I'm very heavy. I weigh over 300 pounds. And so my knees and shins do not like running at all. So I prefer to do swimming because I'm a very good swimmer and I like the full body workout of it. But as a big guy, it's also important to make sure that you walk and run a little bit. Absolute's a good brick. I'm at least a brick. I don't know if I'm a good one, but I'm at least a brick. But Vinny, thank you for the stars, my friend. I appreciate that. Tips to the tavern keeper, always appreciate it. I didn't see what your tavern fare was. What did you get? Oh, you got you some dragonfire mead. There you go. Enjoy your drink. Save a seat for me. Of course, Erin, of course. Okay, alright. Ads are done, my friends, so I think we're going to get right into it with story time tonight. Since we are so late, I don't want to keep everybody up too late, as most of you are on the East Coast. Walking yoga, yoga, and meditation are all good for the health. I agree. I completed a 24-hour fast and ate 2 eggs and some steak for breakfast to break the fast. That's a heck of a way to do it. I always tell people, think about how your ancestors lived 100 years ago. Because we have not had a whole lot of time to adapt between then and now. So think about how your ancestors lived 100 years ago in an ideal way. You don't fast, you starve yourself. That's different. You starve yourself through neglect, personal neglect.
Same.
You fast in the same way that 13th century peasants fasted. I try to fast, but it always goes slow. Well appreciated, Frost. Well appreciated. But yeah, you don't need a whole lot to survive. You need to have proper nutrition, you need to have water, and you need to have sleep. And then if you can get a decent amount of activity in between there, get a little bit of exercise, absolutely an exceptional life you shall lead on top of that. My cholesterol-free diet is like fasting without fasting. See, I could never do... If cholesterol is going to kill me, it's going to kill me. Because I'm not going to go without cheese, I'm not going to go without meat, and I'm not going to go without eggs. So if cholesterol's coming for me, then it's gonna get me. That's just... That's just how it is. I like my water with bubbles and fermented. That's also how Bear likes his water. You guys must all have the same personal trainer over there.
We need to talking about kombucha.
Yes, I am sure that the 6'1" Australian man and the other large bearded men are all talking about their love of kombucha. Well, I can't go passing away. Who will care for my Elsie? That's true. That's true. So you just have to refuse to be defeated by the meat. Gunner says kombucha got me rolling. Oh. Do you have it on high?
I do. It's tepid.
Well, it's a slow cooker, so
I know.
we've
It's gonna be ready till like 2 in the morning.
we've become quite used to having our meals
That's true.
in 20 to 30 minutes. Because we eat fast around here. We don't have time to sit and wait. We make fast meals. If it takes more than an hour to cook, we just don't make it. 6'3" and bearded, no kombucha here, says Donnie. See, there you go. They're definitely not talking about kombucha.
Joking. Sarcasm.
Still, you don't eat meat and you still have high cholesterol. That's insane. I had enough cholesterol to kill 3 men my size. And I'm still alive. Look at that. Eating fast, no good. Eating slow is better. I think I agree. Just enjoying your food.
Yeah. I would limit this with quick meals.
Yes. Usually when we're making food, your body will still retain cholesterol if it's lacking in certain other vitamins. I don't remember exactly what it was. I knew back when my father was alive, but that was almost 10 years ago now. I'll be back and forth elite, but I will be listening. All right, Frost, I appreciate you.
Still raise your cholesterol.
That's true.
Coconut oil, palm oil.
Seed oils especially will raise cholesterol.
Yeah,
All right, we are going to dive right into Eragon, my friends. If any of you have not been here before, up to this point, give you a recap of where we were last week. So Eragon was out hunting, and whilst out hunting, essentially a meteorite fell in front of him, and he brought it home, tried to trade it for some meat. Sloan, the butcher, would not give him the meat, and then the blacksmith bought some for him. And when we last saw him, he was with his uncle back at home, and they were bickering. Huh? Oh, good lord! We've got folks. As soon as I go and see, I'm convinced you guys don't want me to read. Because every time I go to start, we get folks coming in. Welcome in. Let's see. Can I get a shout out for DM Tozzy Presents? Welcome in, my friends. DM Tozzy, I assume, is how it is said. Oh, you gotta get a space there for us. Let me get you guys a toot on the raid horn. Welcome into the tavern. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Welcome in. Where are we coming in from, friends? You guys were playing Dungeons and Dragons. Exceptional. What an absolutely wonderful thing. Oh wow, I'm trying to draw digitally, and I've come to the conclusion that I hate technology. It's so different from paper. It is a difficult skill to learn, to be sure. That's quite all right. Welcome in, friends. Oh my, a sick Viking raspberry. Let's see. We have who all dropped in. We have our friend Tozzy Presents. And Icy Tray, welcome in. My Icy Tray is very funny. It was an interesting one. My lips were a bit dry, that's why I was doing that. My players just survived a monstrous gelatinous cube. Congratulations. Well, come on in, grab yourselves a drink. We're actually getting ready for story time, so fill your tankards, grab a seat. I am Castle. I don't know if you've ever been into the tavern before. It doesn't seem so. But I'm Castle. This is my tavern. Here we talk about myth and lore and tales of yore, and every now and again I read you all a bedtime story. Tonight we are reading Eragon by Christopher Polini. We are exactly 3 chapters in, and tonight we are heading in to the section where he learns about dragons. So thank you so much for the raid. Tozzy, if you have to raid and run, I fully understand. Please make sure that you're taking care of yourself, hydrate properly, and go and get food if you need it. Tara is more of a specific assignment. So even though Tara technically means hill, it is called the Hill of Tara because it is the hill in Ireland. It's where kings were chosen. So you can call it either thing, but to call it the Hill of Tara is a little bit more specific to what the hill's function was. And I can send you a whole linguistic breakdown on it in messages, Matty, if you'd like me to. So in growing up, I've always pronounced Eragon different from you do. You pronounce Eragon like Eragon. So, am I the weird one? So, no, I say Eragon, but because of the way that I pronounce my O's, it sounds similar. But I overpronounce Eragon, so it's Eragon, and then Eragon. So Aragon, Eragon, slightly different. Activates lurk mode. Well, Rebecca, welcome in. Did you come in with the raid, or did you? It doesn't say you came in with the raid, but where are you coming in from? The Hill of Hills, yeah. So it's essentially the same thing like a High King or the King of Kings in Christian tradition, right? Like it is a double emphasis because it is the hill. Jared, hello, welcome in, my friend. Good to see you. So very glad you could join us tonight. Yeah, honestly, now it makes sense hearing you say both. I was confused with my not so gymnastic linguistics. That's what I. No, and when I am speaking quickly, they sound similar. So if I'm reading through and I say Eragon and Eragon, it sounds very similar. Waiting to listen to the story. I know, I was starting, Bobby, and then we had folk come in.
Like you're digging for it.
I know. Jared, say, oh, you can't. Oh, I can't say because work, but happy to hop in for. Oh, I can't stay because of work, but happy to hop in for a while. Well, it's wonderful to have you, brother. I'm glad that you could drop in for a bit. Food, health, rents, yeah, we get off on all kinds around these parts. I mean, yeah, but what you would be saying there, Matty, this is we'll talk more about it on the break, but what you're saying is it's the hill located in the hill region of your story. So it kind of makes sense from a fantasy thing, but anybody who knows Guelga is going to be like, well, that's silly. He's a real edge king with the story time, but that's why we're all here, to be honest. Yeah, fair enough, Connor, fair enough. That's alright, Jared, that's alright. I appreciate you. Alright, everyone, settle in, fill your glasses. Let's get in. To, I believe, over there on the hill in the land of hills, right, which is very like 1980s fantasy, isn't it? It's very like 80s fantasy to be like, it's the hill in the land of hills, or it's the swamp in the land of swamps. It's classic. I mean, when you put it like that, it's the hill of hills in the land of hills, right? Just over the hill. All right, friends, we're on chapter 3, I believe. The chapters aren't numbered, so I don't actually know if I'm lying to you or not. Yes, it is chapter 3. Chapter 3, Dragon Tales. At dawn, the sun's rays streamed through the window, warming Eragon's face. Rubbing his eyes, he sat up on the edge of his bed. The pine floor was cold under his feet. He stretched his sore legs and rubbed his back, yawning. Beside the bed was a row of shelves covered with objects he had collected. There were twisted pieces of wood, odd bits of shells, rocks that had broken to reveal shiny interiors, the strips of dry grass tied into knots. His favorite item was a root so convoluted he never tired of looking at it. The rest of the room was bare, except for a small dresser and nightstand. He pulled on his boots and stared at the floor, thinking this was a special day. It was near this very hour, 16 years ago, that his mother Selena had come home to Carvajal alone and pregnant. She had been gone for 6 years, living in the city. When she returned, she wore expensive clothes and her hair was bound by a net of pearls. She had sought out her brother, Garo, and asked to stay with him until the baby arrived. Within 5 months, her son was born. Everyone was shocked when Selena tearfully begged Garo and Marian to raise him. When they asked why, she only wept and said, I must. Her pleas had grown increasingly desperate until they finally agreed. She named him Eragon, then departed early the next morning and never returned. Eragon still remembered how he had felt when Marian told him the story before she died. The realization that Garo and Marian were not his real parents had disturbed him greatly. Things that had been permanent and unquestionable were suddenly thrown into doubt. Eventually, he had learned to live with it, but he always had a nagging suspicion that he had not been good enough for his mother. I'm not sure there was a good reason for what she did. I'm sure there was a good reason for what she did. I only wish I knew what it was. One other thing bothered him, who was his father. Selena had told no one, and whoever it might have been had never come looking for Eragon. He wished that he knew who it was, if only to have a name. It would be nice to know his heritage. He sighed and went to the nightstand, where he splashed his face, shivering as the water ran down his neck. Refreshed, he retrieved the stone from under his bed and set it on a shelf. The morning light caressed it, throwing a warm shadow on the wall. He touched it one more time and then hurried to the kitchen, eager to see his family. Garo and Rorin were already there, eating chicken. As Eragon greeted them, Rorin stood with a grin. Rorin was 2 years older than Eragon, muscular, sturdy, and careful with his movements. They could not have been closer even if they had been real brothers. Rorin smiled. "I'm glad you're back from your trip. How was it?" "Hard," replied Eragon. "Did Uncle tell you what happened?" He helped himself to a piece of chicken, which he devoured hungrily. "No," said Rorin, and the story was quickly told. At Rorin's insistence, Eragon left his food to show him the stone. This elicited a satisfactory amount of awe, but Rorin soon asked nervously, "Were you able to talk to Katrina?" "No, there wasn't an opportunity after the argument with Sloane. But she'll expect you when the traders come. I gave the message to Horst. He'll get it to her." "You told Horst?" said Rorin incredulously. "That was private. If I wanted everyone to know about it, I would have built a bonfire and used smoke signals to communicate. If Sloane finds out, he won't let me see her again." "Horst will be discreet," assured Eragon. "He won't let anyone fall prey to Sloane, least of all you." Rorin seemed unconvinced, but argued no more. They returned to their meals in a taciturn presence of Garo. When the last bites were finished, all three went to work in the fields. The sun was cold and pale, providing little comfort. Under its watchful eye, the last of the barley was stored in the barn. Next they gathered the prickly vine squash, then the rutabagas, beets, peas, turnips, and beans, which they packed into the root cellar. After hours of labor, they stretched their cramped muscles, pleased that the harvest was finished. The following days were spent pickling, salting, shelling, and preparing the food for winter. 9 days after Eragon's return, a vicious blizzard blew out of the mountains and settled over the valley. The snow came down in great sheets, blanketing the countryside in white. They only dared leave the house for firewood and to feed the animals, for they feared getting lost in the howling wind and featureless landscape. They spent their time huddled over the stove as gusts rattled the heavy window shutters. Days later, the storm finally passed, revealing an alien world of soft white drifts. "I'm afraid the traders may not come this year with the conditions this bad," said Goro. "Late as it is, we'll give them a chance and wait before going to carve a hole. But if they don't show soon, we'll have to buy any separate supplies from the townspeople." His countenance was resigned. They grew anxious as the days crept by without sign of the traders. Talk was sparse, and a depression hung over the house. On the 8th morning, Rorin walked to the road and confirmed that the traders had not yet passed. The day was spent readying for a trip into Carver Hall. Scrounging with grim expressions for saleable items. That evening, out of desperation, Eragon checked the road again. He found deep ruts cut into the snow with numerous hoofprints between them. Elated, he ran back to the house, whooping and bringing new life into their preparations. I have to get to bed. I wish I could stay longer, but I really enjoyed the conversation, even if I don't get to listen to the story. Cassie, I'm so sorry we started so late this evening. On Thursday, we will be on time, I can promise you. Today was just a bit of a hectic day, but I'm glad you were able to drop in, and I'm glad that you enjoyed your time. We'll look forward to seeing you on Thursday. Rest well, and may you rise tomorrow, ready to conquer the day. Start you, my friend. They packed their supplies into the wagon before sunrise. Goro put the year's money in a leather pouch that he carefully fastened to his belt. Eragon set the wrapped stone between the bags of grain so it would not roll when the wagon hit bumps. After a hasty breakfast, they harnessed the horses and cleared a path to the road. The traders' wagons had already broken the drifts, which sped their progress. By noon, they could see Carvajal. In daylight, it was a small, earthy village filled with shouts and laughter. The traders had made camp in an empty field on the outskirts of town. Groups of wagons, tents, and fires were randomly spreading across it. Spots of color against the snow, the troubadours' fort tents were garishly decorated. A steady stream of people linked the camp to the village. The crowd churned around a line of bright tents and booths, clogging the main street. Horses whined at the noise. The snow had been pounded flat, giving it a glassy surface. Elsewhere, bonfires had melted it. Roasted hazelnuts added a rich aroma to the smells wafting around them. Garo parked the wagon and picketed the horses, then drew coins from his pouch. Get yourselves some treats. Rorin, do what you want. Only be at Horst's in time for supper. Eragon, bring that stone and come with me. Eragon grinned at Rorin and pocketed the money, already planning how to spend it. Rorin departed immediately with a determined expression on his face. Garo led Eragon into the throng, shouldering his way through the bustle. Women were buying cloth, while nearby their husbands examined a new latch, hook, or tool. Children ran up and down the road, shrieking with excitement. Knives were on display, spices there, and pots laid out in shiny rows next to leather harnesses. Eragon stared at the traders curiously. They seemed less prosperous than last year. Their children had a frightened, weary look, and their clothes were patched. The gaunt men carried swords and daggers with a new familiarity, and even the women had poniards belted at their waist.
What could have happened to make them look like this? And why are they all so late?
Wondered Eragon. He remembered the traders as being full of good cheer. There was none of that now. Garo pushed down the street, searching for Murloc, a trader who specialized in odd trinkets and pieces of jewelry. They found him behind a booth, displaying brooches to a group of women. As each new piece was revealed, exclamations of admiration followed. Eragon guessed that more than a few purses would soon be depleted. Murloc seemed to flourish and grow every time his wares were complimented. He wore a goatee, held himself at ease, and seemed to regard the rest of the world with slight contempt. The excited group prevented Garo and Eragon from getting near the trader, so they settled on a step and waited. As soon as Murloc was unoccupied, they hurried over.
And what might I do for you, sirs? What do you want to look at?
Said Murloc. An amulet
or a trinket for a lady?
With a twirl, he pulled out a delicately carved silver rose of excellent workmanship. The polished metal caught Eragon's attention, and he eyed it appreciatively. The trader continued.
Not even 3 crowns. No, it has come all the way from the famed craftsman of Bellatona.
Garo spoke in a quavered voice. We aren't looking to buy, but to sell. Murloc immediately covered the rose and looked at them with new interest.
I see. Maybe if this item is of any value, you would like to trade it for 1 or 2 of these exquisite pieces?
He paused for a moment while Eragon and his uncle stood uncomfortably.
then continued. You did bring the object of consideration? We have it, but we would rather show it to you elsewhere, said Garo in a firm voice. Murloc raised an eyebrow, but spoke smoothly. Well, in that case, let me invite you into my tent. He gathered up his wares and gently laid them in an iron-bound chest, which he locked. Then he ushered them up the street and into a temporary camp. They wound between the wagons to a tent removed from the rest of the traders. It was crimson at the top and sable at the bottom, with a thin triangle of colors stabbing into each other. Murloc untied the opening and swung the flap to one side. Small trinkets and strange pieces of furniture, such as a round bed and 3 seats carved from tree stumps, filled the tent. A gnarled dagger with a ruby in the pommel rested on a white cushion. Murloc closed the flap and then turned to them. Please, seat yourselves. When they had, he said, Now show me why we are meeting in private. Eragon unwrapped the stone and set it between the 2 men. Murloc reached for it with a gleam in his eyes and then stopped and asked, May I? When Garo indicated his approval, Murloc picked it up. He put the stone on his lap and reached to one side for a thin box. He opened it to reveal a large set of copper scales, which he set on the ground. After weighing the stone, he scrutinized its surface under a jeweler's glass, tapping it gently with a wooden mallet, and drew the point of a tiny clear stone over it. He measured its length and diameter, then recorded the figures on a slate. He considered the results for a while. Do you know what this is worth? No, admitted Garo. His cheek twitched and he shifted uncomfortably on the seat. Murloc grimaced. Unfortunately, neither do I. But I can tell you this much. The white veins are the same material as the blue that surrounds them, only a different color. What that material might be, though, I have no clue. It's harder than any rock I've seen, harder even than diamond. Whoever shaped it used tools I have never seen, or magic. Also, it's hollow. What? Exclaimed Garo. An irritated edge crept into Murloc's voice. Did you ever hear a rock sound like this? He grabbed the dagger from the cushion and slapped the stone with the flat of the blade. A pure note filled the air, then faded away smoothly. Eragon was alarmed, afraid that the stone had been damaged. Murloc tilted the stone towards them. You'll find no scratches or blemishes. Where the dagger struck, I doubt I could do any harm to this stone, even if I took a hammer to it. Kirk, my friend, hello and welcome in. As always, even a little time in the tavern is a pleasure. Fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all. A glass raised to you, my friends. Slancha. Joker, hello, good to see you. Welcome in. Apparently somebody's bro is named Batman. Over on the YouTube portal. Somebody named Suck and Aberny. Welcome in. And I absolutely love a parting glass reference, Kirk. Glad to have it. Oh, you know, Joker, just another beautiful night in paradise. Getting ourselves into the world of all the stories. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Frost, for buying around for the tavern. Raise a glass, my friends. Man, what a long time it's been. Chef Vanilla Gorilla, it is good to see you. Welcome in. Fill a glass, settle in if you've got the time. It's good to see you as well. I think we've got another half hour of reading before the break. Yeah. For the kitties to work. Crow, thank you for joining us, my friend. Again, I apologize we were on so late this evening. Rest well, and I'll see you back here again on Thursday. Have yourself a wonderful night, my friend. Always wonderful to have you in. Where were we? Garo crossed his arms with a reserved expression. A wall of silence surrounded him. Eragon was puzzled. I knew that the stone appeared in the spine through magic, but made by magic. What for and why? He blurted, but what is it worth? I can't tell you that, said Murloc in a pained voice. I am sure there are people who would pay dearly to have it, but none of them are in Carver Hall. You would have to go to the southern cities to find a buyer. This is a curiosity for most people, not an item to spend money on when practical things are needed. Garo stared at the tent ceiling like a gambler calculating the odds. Will you buy it? The trader answered instantly. It's not worth the risk. I might be able to find a wealthy buyer during my spring travels, but I can't be certain. Even if I did, you wouldn't be paid until I return next year. No, you will have to find someone else who will trade with. I am curious, however. Why did you insist on talking to me in private? Eragon put the stone away before answering. Because he glanced at the man, wondering if he would explode like Sloane. I found it in the spine, and folks around here don't like that. Murloc gave him a startled look. Do you know why my fellow merchants and I were late this year? Eragon shook his head. Our wanderings have been dogged with misfortune. Chaos seems to rule Allegasia. We could not avoid illness, attacks, and the most cursed black luck. Because the Vardens' attacks have been increased, Galbatorix was forced cities to send more soldiers to the borders, men who are needed to combat the Urgles. The brutes have been migrating southeast toward the Haderach Desert. No one knows why, and it wouldn't concern us except that they're passing through populated areas. They've been spotted on roads and near cities, and worst of all are reports of a shade, though the stories are unconfirmed, and not many people survive such an encounter. Why haven't we heard this? What?
I grabbed him and he's like, oh no, I know what's happening. I know
Oh, did somebody cash in to see the kitty?
Yeah.
Ah, I see. Come here. Old man. Grumpy old man.
Yeah.
Who cashed it in? Is it Matty? Of course. So for any of you who have never met any of the tavern beasts, this is Boo. He is the old man of the tavern. Well, the second old man. The oldest man is the snake. He's like almost 30 years old. But this is Boo. He was found in a graveyard next to the corpses of his dead siblings. The people who had him before us thought it was unironic to call him Boo. And he is a very, very affectionate and not very intelligent cat. He loves to just lay with mom and snuggle her all day.
He doesn't have to be smart.
Well, no,
He just has to be cute.
I was just saying none of them are smart, and that's their whole job is to just.
I mean, Coda knows. He understands more than he lets on.
That's true. That doesn't make him smart though.
And Boo understands true.
Yeah, so he now understands the word churu, which is like a kitty go-gurt.
Kitty go-gurt.
And all of the cats basically know that if they're in my hand, I get to do whatever I want.
He just gave up.
Yeah. As soon as I have a hold of them, they're like, all right, well, this is what it is. Until then. Makes him quite cunning, though. There's about 3 brain cells between all 3 animals. And he gets upset if he can't snuggle with mom for more than 20 hours a day. He gets grumpy.
He gets mad.
Very, very grouchy.
Leave the bed.
He's lovely. He is. He's a beautiful cat. Actually, all of the animals are pretty. Here, I'll show you. We'll have everybody come and say hello. Come here. Come say hi. Up, up. There he is. Yeah. This is Koda. He is the hound of the tavern. Which I just realized you have something stuck in your nose, dude. How did you do that? Hey. Hey, hold still. No, it's not for you. Those are kitty treats. Hey, you stay. You mind your business. Listen. Oh boy. Alright, you can go. It worked. Where's the other one?
He's sleeping in this thing that never fixed.
Oh, go and grab him. He must work. He must work for his food.
Oh, did you hear snacks? Did you hear snacks? Trying to go back in. I'm sorry.
He's got such a sleepy face.
He's very
Come
sleepy.
here. Oh,
Sorry.
good lord. Mom's just knocking stuff over today. Okay. And this is Milo. He is the baby. And he's also the biggest troublemaker.
Give him a piece. Yeah, I know. I'm getting it. No, it's not the chudu, so he's like, meh.
Come on, eat. Eat it. Eat it. See, it's tasty.
He only eats the dried liver sometimes.
Well, it's funny, he's licking it off his lips. He's like, no, I don't want to eat it right now. He's a good cat, yeah. Milo is his handsome liver, and he's massive. He's an absolute unit. Look how big he is. Look how big he is. Yeah, we're gonna hold you up so everybody can see how big you are. Oh, no, don't flop. No flopping. Look how big he is. Look how big he is. He's a massive kitty cat. And he's not even a year old yet.
I think, no, he's a year now. I think he was born in March.
Okay, so he's almost exactly a year. Yeah, he is a he's a Bengal, and yeah, he is a big kitty cat. Look at it, just stretching out to get his churu. Milo probably weighs almost 4 pounds, I would say. He's very big.
Sorry, you're getting chudu in your nose. Lick it off. There you go.
He's just got his legs all the way up in the air. If he's getting snacks, everything is allowable. He'll do whatever you ask him to do.
Does not care.
Yeah, no cares given. See, he's a very malleable kitty cat. Oh, hey, oh, gross! Your face smells like fish. Gross.
It's chicken.
Oh, whatever. It smells like chicken. Your face smells like chicken. All right, go. I know you want more. Go get more from Mum. He is very relaxed. I've worked very. Gunnar says I'm the same. If there are snacks, I'm up for anything. Honestly. Come here.
A full big ass treat.
Yes. Good boy. Goodness, Milo is a big tiger, and he's still got a little bit of ways to grow too. But he's a big boy. Milo is adorable. They're all good-looking animals. Which is good because again, they're not very smart, so they have to be handsome. That's the rule in life, kids. You either have to be handsome or you have to be smart. That's basically how it works out. And if you're neither, well, whoops, somebody messed up on your programming. Food appeases many creatures. Yes, indeed it does. Coda is a gentle giant. That's true. He's like a 70, almost 80-pound dog. He's very heavy, but he tries to be gentle, and then occasionally he freaks out and just breaks a bunch of stuff.
I'm wondering if maybe where the heat is coming from, there was somebody that put bleach in it,
It's possible.
and it's just burning up.
That is possible.
Gross. I don't like chemicals.
It's gross. But yeah, Milo is huge. He's probably going to get a little bit bigger. He's almost a half bigger than Boo is. You have
3 handsome furry kids. I have 4 handsome furry kids. Just the other one is human. Just in time to see the furry babies. Yes, indeed. Castle, I'm curious, does Tir na Croy or Tir na Cro or Tir na Cree work better for the land of the heart of where Tara is located, or Tir na Fey in the story? Oh no, the snake isn't furry, but yeah, the snake is... He very well might be. He's old. The snake is almost 30 years old, so he's been in his rock for a bit. Is Squeeze a ball python? Yeah, he's a ball python. Una is not furry. She's only furry sometimes in the winter. She grows a winter coat.
Even then, it's not a lot.
But yeah, even then it's not very much.
Totally empty. Everett. Hey. Squeeze his balls and keep it right on.
Appropriate name for the snake. Yes. Growing a winter coat is all good women do.
Because you're supposed to keep them all.
So again, when you're dealing with Guelga is sort of literal, but it's also like... So like when we say I am sad, right? We say Tabron Orum. So Tabron Orum does not mean literally I am sad. It means that sadness is on me. So Guelga is very dramatic in a way. Good night, Joker. Rest well, my friend. I'm very glad you could drop in. I'm gonna get back to reading here in a second. But if you're off, good night. It was wonderful to see you. So when you're talking about naming places, the name of places are either after a person, after like a family or a clan that was prominent there, or it is defined by some aspect of... How would you put it? Some prominent aspect of the landscape. Right, like the Hill of Tara is defined because it's got like large stones that are at the top. You have the different monolithic sites that are named for the stones that are there. So when you are naming something in Guelga, the convention is that it should be named for a prominent feature that is there. And a lot of times it is far more simple than something that... Like, you don't be overly profound with it is what you need to do when you're naming anything in Guelga. Like, you want to be sort of literal, but also just practical in the way that you call a thing. Vanilla Gorilla, have a wonderful evening, my friend. Rest well. Since the region is associated with a character called Queen Danu, first queen of Tir na Fey, wouldn't it be better off as Tir na Danu? You could. It would still be weird though. My kids want a ball python or a corn snake. I can't feed them if it makes my heart sad. Well, but it's just it is natural that if the snake wasn't with you, the snake would still be eating things. No, it's all right, Maddie. I need to message you so we can talk about the things that you have need my help with, anyways. So send me the question in a message, and I'll break it down for you. I'm working on
I still remember that I'm supposed to help you with the Viking and the Aesir banner thing. But I used to have pet mice, so feeding mice is difficult. I do understand that it can be. I used to have rats, so you know it's hard to differentiate the pets from the food. But and this is kind of what we talk about when people lose pets, is that one of the things to remember is that your pets are like privileged animals, right? Like they are the royalty amongst animals because they get to live a life that is far different from the lives of other animals. At the end of the day, we're all food for something. Same, rats were better pets than mice. My rats were feeders that got brought home. Yeah, I used to raise and train rats for fun when I was in university. But yeah, it is hard, but you really just have to look at it practically. It's the same thing like living on a farm. You know, occasionally you just have to understand that there are really horrific things that are natural, that exist naturally in nature, and if you're going to have a farm, you have to deal with those things. And if you're gonna have snakes, you have to deal with those things. And if you can't, then the best thing to do is just not to have a snake. Or they can do it when they're older on their own. It's true. I mean that's part of why you have kids, right? Frost, you said, yeah, I guess we can. We might as well, since we're chit-chatting. We'll run the quick 3 minutes. So for anyone who does not have turbo or a sub, we're going to run 3 minutes of ads real quick over on the Twitch portal. And then we're going to start reading. It looks like we're probably only going to get one chapter tonight, it is a long chapter though. Like this chapter is one of the longer chapters in the book. This one's almost 20 pages. So we'll probably finish up this chapter tonight, and then that'll be the reading for the evening. I appreciate you, Frost. That's you solid barkeep work, my friend. We have axolotls and deer, cats and fish and shrimp. There's enough, and I just adopted another axolotl. That is. What is the native pronunciation of axolotl? Is it Wahakotl? Huh? Axolotl. Yeah. All right, Matty. So, and actually, real quick, while we're on a bit of a break, anyone who has messaged me who needs me to attend to something, send me another message today over on Discord, over in the guild, and I will address it tomorrow. I'm gonna go through my Discord messages tomorrow and address anything that I've missed over the last couple weeks, just because I've had so much going on that a lot of my messages have fallen by the wayside, and I'm trying to get caught up. Life is not supposed to be fun. Nature is hard and can be cruel at times, and it's all a part of the greater scheme of things. The ball is constantly rolling on the cycle, never cycling. It is what it is at the end of the day. That's true. And one of the big things that I bring up a lot when we're talking about things is that we spend so much time in society removing ourselves from death, right? Like we hide the bodies of our loved ones when they pass away. We hide the bodies of our dead pets when they pass away from our children. And it separates us from one of the most important realities of life, which is that someday we're all going to die. And yeah, just send me a message, because I'm trying to get caught up on my messages. But guys, Rob, hello, good to see you, my friend. I kid you guys not. I on average in a week get about 80 to 100 messages in a week. And I try to get back to everybody, but sometimes messages fall between the cracks. And because I'm not actively putting anything into Discord, like I don't upload anything to Discord. I go on and I I make announcements and whatnot, and I try to like be there to talk to everybody, which I have not been in the last 3 weeks, which I feel bad about. But stuff just genuinely gets lost in the hubbub of all of the things. So if I haven't gotten to a message in a while, especially if it's been like over a month, message me again, because it just means it fell between the cracks. I'm not intentionally ignoring you. If you were messaging me nonsense and it was actual nonsense, and I was something that I felt was not worth my time, I would quite literally tell you it's not worth my time to attend to this. Go look it up somewhere else. So I try to be as frank with everyone as I can, so that no time gets wasted for anybody. I'm doing life wrong. I'm having a blast while I'm here. I do and plan to do all the things I can. I regret nothing. Well, and honestly, that's the way that you should live. You should try and be as great as you can, as strong as you can, as active as you can, as loved and as loving as you can be. Do all that you can while you're alive within the realms of reason, and get as much out of the one run you get on the roller coaster, I actually appreciate what I refer to as my mortality checks. I need that sort of slap in the face to keep me focused on living. It's true, because you get so caught up in the hubbub of being alive that sometimes you forget to live, right? Rebecca does the lurking. Rebecca, where did you come in from, Rebecca? I don't recognize your name, but it seems you've been here before, because it's not a first time one. And you might have come in before, and I apologize if I don't remember you, but welcome in. Thankfully, I only need the Guerga thing and things for Act 1, Book 3, and then you want me to go over Book 2 as well. Slingo, well, if it isn't the sexiest man in the Nine Realms, how you doing, Cass? Oh, you flatter me. I'm doing well. I appreciate you. How are you doing, my friend? I'll take a tiny sip. Seems like probably Frost. Seems like probably. Alright, well, I think that we can get back into story time now. We've got... Oh, well, actually, no, we might get 2 chapters in, because this one chapter is very, very short. Yeah, this chapter is only 3 pages. I forgot how sporadic Pellini's writing is. He's most definitely not a conventional chapter writer, to be sure. I also forgot how heavy he is on adverbs. The final draft of my book is done, and my brother has it for what I call a blind reading. He knows nothing about it and will be able to give me honest opinions. I'm excited. Then the real draft can be made. That is very exciting. Darth Nexus, Butterbeer time indeed. I'm alive. Girlfriend is using the PC to listen to her horror stories. What are we reading tonight? Yes, we're reading Eragon, the Dragon Book. Yes, one of the Dragon Books. Dragon Books isn't super specific in this day and age. There's a lot of books about dragons, but one of the better Dragon Books, I would argue. I feel pretty proud of book 2. If you're not proud of the spicy scenes, why are they in there, Matty? Oh, the badgers are coming in. Arthur Christie, hello. Bringing in 15 of your fine badgers to us. Rebecca, another Rebecca. Rebecca, with this Rebecca we know. There was a different Rebecca. But hello, Christie and Rebecca. Let's get you guys a toot on the raid horn. And let's get a shout out for Arthur Christie, if you don't mind. I'm Josh the Gamer. Hello, welcome in, my friends. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Welcome. They got me intoxicated, help. Well, make sure you're drinking plenty of water and that you get some food in your belly if you haven't eaten yet. What would we... Huh?
My was just watching Sleaze.
He wants him so bad.
I know.
He wants in there. He's like,
I don't know where my other. What I just did with the other pin.
is it not still up there?
No, it's camouflaged.
Camouflaged. I had to take 4 shots of rum, and now I need to drink water and go to bed. Those badgers are crazy. They do tend to be crazy. They do tend to be crazy. Well, Arthur Christie, thank you for trusting us with the badgers. We'll be sure to take fine care of him. For anyone who's never been into the tavern before, I am Castle. This is my tavern. Here we talk about myth and lore and tales of yore. And every now and again, I read you all a bedtime story. Tonight we are reading from Eragon. We are about 3 chapters in, and you have found yourself in to take them tonight. They are chaotic. Well, I'll do my best to keep them entertained then. Badger friends, you have found yourself in a tavern at the edge of the world, where all stories eventually come to rest. And we welcome you. Grab a seat, fill your tankard, and enjoy yourselves some story time. And for anyone who needs to run off, please feel free to do so. Master Castle, if you had a castle, what would you call it? Well, I would of course call it Castle's Castle, just to confuse everybody. Further than I have gone on my own. Yeah. Well, yeah, that specific dragon book is about one named Eragon, correct. The green screen wants you to be ethereal today. Yes, it does. It's having me be very ethereal. Okay, alright. Let us return to story time, my friends. Castle, Elsie and I are having our afternoon kitty nap. We're listening in the background. Well, very good, Esther. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. Alicia Ashley, hello and welcome in. So very glad you could join us. Grab a seat. Just go to the castle. Which castle? Oh, you know, Castle's Castle. What? Yeah, precisely. Precisely that. That's right. Arthur Christie is an author. It's right there in the name, and she writes romance books. So if that's your bag of tricks, go and give her work a look. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Also, guys, well, I messaged a YouTuber for using a song she made in book 1 trailer later this year. Yeah, well, it should be fun. I figured, but it could be Castle squared, that's true, it could be, and be the shape of a square. It could just be a cube, right? Because a square squared would be a cube. So it could be Castle squared, and then it would just be a cube. Alright, friends, let's get back into the story. To all of the new friends, grab a seat and settle in. I figured you'd like this guy. He's the homie who helped me get my affiliate badge on Twitch. Great man, even better narrator. You flatter me deeply, saying, oh, Alicia is it Alicia is one of your friends? Definitely a great voice for narrator. Well, I do my best. I am a professional storyteller role. Squares, we are badgers and are very privy to squares. Alright, friends, settle in, fill your drinks. Let's get back into the story. Where were we? Why haven't we heard of this? Cried Eragon. Oh, because, said Murloc grimly. It's only began a few months ago. Whole villages have been forced to move because of Urgles. Destroyed their fields and starvation threatens. Nonsense, growled Garo. We haven't seen any Urgles. The only one around here has his horns mounted in Morn's tavern. Murloc arched an eyebrow. Maybe so, but this is a small village hidden by the mountains. It's not surprising that you've escaped notice. However, I wouldn't expect that to last. I only mention this because strange things are happening here. As well, if you found such a stone in the spine. With that sobering statement, he bid them farewell with a bow and a slight smile. Garo headed back to Carver Hall with Eragon trailing behind. What do you think? Asked Eragon. Going to get more information before I make up my mind. Take the stone back to the wagon, then do what you want. I'll meet you for dinner at Horst's. Eragon dodged through the crowd and happily dashed back to the wagon. Trading would take his uncle hours, time that he planned to enjoy fully. He hid the stone under the bags and then set into town with a cocky stride. He walked from one booth to another, evaluating the goods, with a buyer's eye despite his meager supply of coins. When he talked with merchants, they confirmed what Murloc had said about the instability of Allegasia. Over and over the message was repeated. Last year's security has deserted us. New dangers have appeared and nothing is safe. Later in the day, he brought 3 sticks of malt candy and a small piping hot cherry pie. The hot food felt good after hours of standing in the snow. He licked the sticky syrup from his fingers regretfully, wishing for more, then sat on the edge of a porch and nibbled on a piece of candy. 2 boys from Carver Hall wrestled nearby, but he felt no inclination to join them. As the day descended into late afternoon, the traders took their business into people's homes. Eragon was impatient for evening, when the troubadours would come out and tell stories and perform tricks. He loved hearing about magic and gods, and if they were especially lucky, the dragon riders. Carver Hall had its own storyteller, Brom, a friend of Eragon's, but his tales grew old over the years, whereas the troubadours always had new ones that he listened to eagerly. Eragon had just broken off an icicle from under the side of a porch when he spotted Sloane nearby. The butcher had not seen him, so Eragon ducked his head and bolted around the corner toward Morn's tavern. The inside was hot and filled with greasy smoke from sputtering tallow candles. The shiny black Urgle horns, their twisted span, was as great as outstretched arms were mounted over the door. The bar was long and low, with a stack of staves on one end for customers to carve. Morn tended the bar, his sleeves rolled up to his elbows. The bottom half of his face was short and mashed, as if he had rested his chin on a grinding wheel. People crowded solid oak tables and listened to 2 traders who had finished their business early and had come in for beer. Morn looked up from a mug he was cleaning. Eragon, good to see you. Where's your uncle? Hi, said Eragon with a shrug. He's going to be a while. And Roland, is he here? Asked Morn with a swipe of the cloth through another mug. Yes, no sick animals to keep him back this year. Good, good. Eragon gestured to the 2 traders. Who are they? Grain buyers. They brought everyone seed at a ridiculously low price, and now they're telling wild stories, expecting us to believe them. Eragon understood why Morn was so upset. People need that money. We can't get by without it. What kind of stories? Morn snorted. They say the Varden have formed a pact with the Urgles and are massing an army to attack us. Supposedly, it's only through the grace of our king that we've been protected so long. As if Galbatorix could care if we burn to the ground. Go listen to them. I have enough on my hands without explaining their lies. The first trader filled a chair with his enormous girth. His every movement caused it to protest loudly. There was no hint of hair on his face, his pudgy hands were baby smooth, and he had a pouting lips that curled petulantly as he sipped from a flagon. The second man had a florid face, The skin around his jaw was dry and corpulent, filled with lumps of hard fat, like cold butter gone rancid. Contrasted with his neck and jowls, the rest of his body was unnaturally thin. The first trader vainly tried to pull back his expanding borders to fit within the chair. He said, No, you don't understand. It is only through the king's unceasing efforts on your behalf that you're able to argue with us in safety. If he in all his wisdom were to withdraw that support, woe unto you. Right! Why don't you also tell us about the riders of return, and if you killed 100 elves? Do you think we're children to believe your tales? We can take care of ourselves. And the group chuckled. The trader started to reply when his thin companion intervened with a wave of his hand. Gaudy jewels flashed on his fingers. You misunderstand. We know the Empire cannot care for each of us personally, as you may want, but it can keep Urgles and other abominations from overrunning this. He searched vaguely for the right term. Place. The trader continued. You're angry with the Empire for not treating your people fairly, a legitimate concern, but a government cannot please everyone. There will inevitably be arguments and conflicts. However, the majority of us have nothing to complain about. Every country has some small group of malcontents who aren't satisfied with a balance of power. Yeah, called a woman. If you're willing to call the Vardens small, the fat man sighed. We really explained that the Varden have no interest in helping you. That's only a falsehood perpetuated by the traitors who attempt to disrupt the Empire and convince us that the real threat is inside, not outside our borders. All they want to do is overthrow the king and take possession of our land. There's spies everywhere, and they prepare to invade. You never know who might be working for them. Eragon did not agree, but the trader's words were smooth, and people were nodding. He stepped forward and said, How do you know this? I can say that clouds are green, but that doesn't mean it's true. Prove you aren't lying. The two men glared at him while the villagers waited silently for the answer. The thin trader spoke first. He avoided Eragon's eyes. Aren't your children taught respect? Or do you let boys challenge men whenever they want to? The listeners fidgeted and stared at Eragon. Then a man said, Answer the question. Well, it's only common sense, said the fat one, sweat beading on his upper lip. His reply riled the villagers, and the dispute resumed. Eragon returned to the bar with a sour taste in his mouth. He had never before met anyone who favored the Empire and tore down its enemies. There was a deep-seated hatred of the Empire in Carvahorn, almost hereditary in nature. The Empire had never helped them during the harsh years when they nearly starved and its tax collectors were heartless. He felt justified in disagreeing with the traders regarding the king's mercy, but he did speculate about the Varden. The Varden were a rebel group that constantly raided and attacked the Empire. It was a mystery who their leader was or who had formed them in the years following Galbatorix's rise to power over the century ago. The group had garnered much sympathy as they eluded Galbatorix's efforts to destroy them. Little was known about the Varden except that if you were a fugitive and had to hide, or if you hated the Empire, they would accept you. The only problem was finding you. Morn leaned over the bar and said, Incredible, isn't it? Worse than the vultures circling in the dying animals. There's going to be trouble if they stay much longer. For us or for them? Them, said Morn as angry voices filled the tavern. Eragon left when the argument threatened to become violent. The door thudded shut behind him, cutting off the voices. It was early evening and the sun was sinking rapidly. The houses cast long shadows on the ground. As Eragon headed down the street, he noticed Rorin and Katrina standing in an alley. Rorin said something Eragon could not hear. Katrina looked down at her hands and answered in an undertone, then leaned up on her tiptoes and kissed him before darting away. Eragon trotted to Rorin and teased, "Having a good time?" Rorin grunted noncommittally as he paced away. "Have you heard the trader's news?" asked Eragon, following. Most of the villagers were indoors, talking to traders or waiting until it was dark enough for the troubadours to perform. "Yes." Rorin seemed distracted. "What do you think of Sloane?" "I thought it was obvious." "There'll be blood between us when he finds out about Katrina and me," stated Rorin. A snowflake landed on Eragon's nose and he looked up. The sky had turned grey. He could think of nothing appropriate to say. Rorin was right. He clasped his cousin on the shoulder as they continued down the byway. Dinner at Horse was hearty. The room was filled with conversation and laughter. Sweet cordials and heavy ales were consumed in copious amounts, adding to the boisterous atmosphere. When the plates were empty, Horse guests left the house and strolled to the field where the traders were camped. A ring of poles topped with candles had been stuck into the ground around a large clearing. Bonfires blazed in the background, painting the ground with dancing shadows. The villagers slowly gathered around the circle and waited expectantly in the cold. The troubadours came tumbling out of their tents, dressed in tasseled clothing, followed by older and more stately minstrels. The minstrels provided music and narration as their younger counterparts acted out the stories. The first plays were pure excitement, bawdy and full of jokes, pratfalls, and ridiculous characters. Later, however, when the candles sputtered in their sockets and everyone was drawn together into a tight circle, the old storyteller Brom stepped forward. A knotted white beard rippled over his chest, and a long black cape was wrapped around his bent shoulders, obscuring his body. He spread his arms with hands that reached out like talons and recited thus. The sands of time cannot be stopped. Years pass, whether we will them or not. But we can remember. What has been lost may yet live on in memories. That which you will hear is imperfect and fragmented, yet treasure it. For without you, it does not exist. I give you now a memory that's been long forgotten, hidden in the dreamy haze that lies behind us. His keen eyes inspected their interested faces. His gaze lingered on Eragon last of all. Before your grandfather's fathers were born, and yea, even before their fathers, the Dragon Riders were formed. To protect and guard was their mission. And for thousands of years they succeeded. Their prowess in battle was unmatched, for each had the strength of 10 men. They were immortal unless blade or poison took them. For good only were their powers used, and under their tutelage all cities and towers were built out of living stone. When they kept peace, the land flourished. It was a golden time. The elves were our allies, and the dwarves our friends. Wealth flowed into our cities, and men prospered. But weep, or it could not last. Brom looked down silently. Infinite sadness resonated in his voice. Though no enemy could destroy them, They could not guard against themselves. It came to pass at the height of their power that a boy, Galbatorix by name, was born in the province of Inzelbeth, which is no more. At 10 he was tested, and was the custom. And it was found that great power resided in him. The riders accepted him as their own. Through their training he passed, exceeding all others in skill. Gifted with a sharp mind and strong body, he quickly took his place among the riders' ranks. Some saw his abrupt rise as dangerous, and warned the others. But the riders had grown arrogant in their power and ignored caution. Alas, sorrow was conceived that day. So it was. Soon after his training finished, Galbatorix took a reckless trip with 2 friends. Far north they flew, night and day, and passed into the Urgle's remaining territory, foolishly thinking their new powers would protect them. There, on a thick sheet of ice, unmelted even in summer, they were ambushed in their sleep. Though his friends and their dragons were butchered, and he suffered great wounds, Galbatorix slew his attackers. Tragically, during the fight, a stray arrow pierced his dragon's heart. Without the arts to save her, she died in his arms. And then there were seeds of madness planted.
The storyteller clasped his hands and looked around slowly, shadows flickering across his worn face. The next words came like a mournful toll of requiem.
Alone, bereft of much of his strength, half mad with loss, Galbatorix wandered without hope in that desolate land, seeking death. Did not come to him, though he threw himself without fear against any living thing. Urgles and other monsters soon fled from his haunted form. During this time he came to realize that the riders might grant him another dragon. Driven by this thought, he began the arduous journey, on foot, back through the spine. Territory he had soared over effortlessly on a dragon's back now took him months to traverse. He could hunt with magic, but oftentimes he walked in places where animals did not travel. Thus, when his feet finally left the mountains, he was close to death. A farmer found him collapsed in the mud and summoned the riders. Unconscious, he was taken to their holdings, and his body healed. He slept for 4 days. Upon awakening, he gave no sign of his fevered mind. And when he was brought before the council convened to judge him, Galbatorix demanded another dragon. The desperation of the request revealed his dementia, and the council saw him for what he truly was. Denied his hope, Galbatorix, through the twisted mirror of his madness, came to believe it was the rider's fault his dragon had died. Night after night he brooded on that, and formulated a plan to exact revenge.
Brom's words dropped to a mesmerizing whisper.
He found a sympathetic rider, and there his insidious words took root. By persistent reasoning, the use of dark secrets learned from a shade, he inflamed the rider against his elders. Together they treacherously lured and killed an elder, and when the foul deed was done, Galbatorix turned on his ally, slaughtered him without warning. The riders found him, then, with blood dripping from his hands. A scream tore from his lips, and he fled into the night. As he was cunning in his madness, they could not find him. For years, he hid in the wastelands like a hunted animal, always watching for pursuers. His atrocity was not forgotten, but over time searches ceased. Then, through some ill fortune, he met a young rider, Morzan, strong of body but weak of mind. Galbatorix convinced Morzan to leave a gate unbolted in the citadel Illyria, which was now called Urubain. Through this gate, Galbatorix entered and stole a dragon hatchling. He and his new disciple hid themselves in an evil place where the riders dared not venture. There, Morzan entered into a dark apprenticeship, learning secrets and forbidden magic that should never have been revealed. When his instruction finished, and Galbatorix's black dragon, Shurikan, was fully grown, Galbatorix revealed himself to the world. With Morzan at his side, together they fought any riders they met. With each kill, their strength grew. 12 of the riders joined Galbatorix out of a desire for power and revenge against perceived wrongs. Those 12, with Morzan, became the 13 Forsworn. The riders were unprepared and fell beneath the onslaught. The youngs too fought bitterly against Galbatorix, but they were overthrown and forced to flee to their secret places. From whence they come no more. Only Varael, leader of the riders, could resist Galbatorix and the Forsworn. Ancient and wise, he struggled to save what he could and keep the remaining dragons from falling to his enemies. In the last battle, before the gates of Doru Arabia, Varael defeated Galbatorix, but hesitated with the final blow. Galbatorix seized the moment and smote him in the side. Grievously wounded, Varael fled to Utgard Mountain, where he hoped to gather strength. But it was not to be, for Galbatorix found him. As they fought, Galbatorix kicked Varael in the forks of his leg. With that underhanded blow, he gained dominance over Varael, removed his head with a blazing sword. Then, as power rushed through his veins, Galbatorix anointed himself king over all Alagasia. And from that day, he has ruled.
Cindy, hello, hello, good to see you. Hannah, good night, rest well. I hope you rise tomorrow ready to face the day, and that you sleep soundly and well this fine evening. With the completion of the story, Brom shuffled away with the troubadours. Eragon thought that he saw a tear shining on his cheek. People murmured quietly to each other as they departed. Garo said to Eragon and Rorin,
"Consider yourselves fortunate. I've heard this tale only twice in my life. If the Empire knew that Brom had recited it, he would not live to see a new month."
And so ends chapter 3 of Eragon, book 1, my friends. I think we're gonna we'll go ahead and we'll do the next chapter right here, because let's see, we should have a good amount of time. Yeah, we got 20 odd minutes before we have to run ads again for our Twitch friends. Hannah, thank you for buying around. Everybody raise a glass to Hannah. Thank you kindly. Off to bed with you, rest well, and may your dreams be as sweet as they possibly can be. Obviously, I hope that she enjoys the story time then. Alright. Let us
We're just going to do this next chapter real quick, and then we'll take a quick break. The evening after their return to Garverhold, Eragon decided to test the stone as Murloc had. Alone in his room, he set it on his bed and laid 3 tools next to it. He started with a wooden mallet and lightly tapped the stone. It produced a subtle ringing. Satisfied, he picked up the next tool, a heavy leather hammer. A mournful peal reverberated when it struck, and lastly he pounded a small chisel against it. The metal did not chip or scratch the stone, but it produced the clearest sound yet. As a final note died away, he thought he heard a faint squeak.
Murloc said the stone was hollow. There could be something of value inside. I don't know how to open it, though. There have been a good reason for someone to shape it. But whoever sent the stone to the spine hasn't taken the trouble to retrieve it. Doesn't know where it is. But I don't believe that a magician with enough power to transport the stone wouldn't be able to find it again. So was I meant to have it?
He could not answer the question. Resigned to an unsolvable mystery, he picked up the tools and returned the stone to its shelf. That night he was abruptly roused from his sleep. He listened carefully. All was quiet. Uneasy, he slid a hand under the mattress and grasped his knife. He waited a few minutes, then slowly slunk back to sleep. A squeak pierced the silence, tearing him from the back of his wakefulness. He rolled out of bed and yanked the knife from its sheath. Fumbling with a tinder box, he lit a candle. The door to his room was closed, though the squeak was too loud for a mouse or a rat. He still checked under the bed. Nothing. He sat on the edge of the mattress and rubbed the sleep from his eyes. Another squeak filled the air, and he started violently. Where was the noise coming from? Nothing could be in the floor or walls. They were solid wood. Same went for his bed. And he would have noticed if anything had crawled into the straw mattress during the night. His eyes settled on the stone. He took it off the shelf and absently cradled it as he studied the room. A squeak rang in his ears and reverberated through his fingers. It came from the stone. The stone had given him nothing but frustration and anger, and now it would not even let him sleep. It ignored his furious glare and sat solidly, occasionally peeping. Then it gave one very loud squeak, and it fell silent. Eragon warily put it away and got back under the sheets. Whatever secret the stone held, he would have to wait until morning. The moon was shining through his window when he woke again. The stone was rocking rapidly on the shelf, knocking itself against the wall. It was bathed in cool moonlight that bleached its surface. Eragon jumped out of bed, knife in hand. The motion stopped, but he remained tense. Then the stone started squeaking and rocking faster than ever. With an oath, he began dressing. He did not care how valuable the stone might be. He was going to take it far away and bury it. The rocking stopped. The stone became quiet. It quivered, then rolled forward and dropped onto the floor. With a loud thump, he inched toward the door in alarm as the stone wobbled toward him. Suddenly, a crack appeared in the stone. Then another, and another. Transfixed, Eragon leaned forward, still holding the knife. At the top of the stone, where all the cracks met, a small piece wobbled as if it were balanced on something, and then rose and toppled to the floor. After another series of squeaks, a small dark head poked out of the hole, followed by a weirdly angled body. Eragon gripped the knife tighter and held very still, and soon the creature was all the way out of the stone. It stayed in place for a moment, and then skittered into the moonlight. Eragon recoiled in shock. Standing in front of him, licking off membrane that encased it, was a dragon. And you know what, my friends? Oh my goodness. TikTok is trying real hard to kick us off right now. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Keep going. Hey, you old man, did you know you're still with 3? I have no idea what you're talking about, my friend. I don't know, it's this random person just on YouTube who's speaking. First is keep saying, "Bro, I'm Batman," which, if you are Batman, that's terrible. You revealed your identity to everybody, and then just saying random nonsense. Am I annoying? You're strange. I don't know if you're annoying. I'm a bit too old to be annoyed by internet nuisance. You're interesting. Well, no, I don't think interesting is the word. You're strange. We'll say that. You're strange. Immature, perhaps, but no, not annoying. Alright, my friends, I think that is actually where we are going to end for the evening. It is quite late. Jacob says, I've never actually seen any of your videos until 30 seconds ago when I saw your Easter video. Pretty cool stuff. Well, Jacob, I am glad that you enjoyed yourself. I'm very glad that you were able to join us. And right now, I'm going to let you all end up for now, because it is getting late, and I don't want to keep everybody up, and I don't want anybody to miss any of Eragon. So I think that we are going to, if you're over on the Twitch portal, we're going to raid out to someone else, and this is where we are going to end up for the night, my friends. So, I appreciate you all for joining us. You're all absolutely lovely and wonderful. Thank you to everyone who tipped the tavern keeper, and to all of you who spent the evening with us. It is deeply appreciated. Well, sorry I caught the end, but I'm excited to see more. Jacob, normally I try to start sometime between 4:30 and 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. Tonight was a bit later. And sadly, I do not have time for songs tonight, Gunnar, but I promise I'll give you guys a more in-depth story time on Thursday. Tonight just got a little bit out of hand, a little bit late, but I promise you on Thursday we'll have a full story time as well as songs. Still, I am Batman, bro. I believe you, bro. I believe you. Alright, my friends, this is where we're going to end for the evening, and until the next time that we all gather here. So if you're over on the Twitch portal, we will raid out and share the love. We got so many raids this evening. But for everyone else, this is where we must part. And while it is such sweet sorrow that we must part, we will all gather here again the next time that you all seek a story. So, until then, my friends, I will bid you all stay bloodthirsty. And I will see you next time. Good night, my friends.
Is a kingdom of night. In the veins of the mountain, the iron is still bound by the frost runes and winter's own.